Hello and welcome to another episode of Soaking Nostalgia. I am your host, Matt.
Sir Bradley.
And this evening we have an additional voice that may chime in from time to time or the whole time, but that is completely her decision. Alan is not with us tonight.
He's sick.
Well, I think he's passed out, so...
Same difference.
Yeah. But
the assumption.
Your name is?
Cats.
So we are joined by Kat this evening.
With a K.
Yeah. And tonight we're going to be talking about Leslie Nielsen. Now, for those that don't know, Leslie Nielsen was an actor from many decades of work.
50s, 60s.
50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and some 2000s work. The most recent things that he would do that I saw most recently was that people might be most familiar with him was he would host the introductions to the Three Stooges on AMC. They would do marathons of the Three Stooges, and he would introduce the episodes and give some little insights to them. Other than that, Naked Gun movies, Airplane, yada yada. We'll get into all that. But first, we do have an email set up when this episode comes out. I really do hope that the listeners will send us emails, give us feedback, let us know what they like and don't like, which is sort of what Kat's job's going to be after that. After tonight, tell us what she liked and didn't like about it. Oh, and I think your rings are creating a BuzzFeed.
Should have just seen that look. She was just like, really? Really? I'm going to be doing what?
No, you're going to give us feedback.
I'm going to do what?
Tell us what you liked, didn't like, think that we need to adjust, change, just because you're an independent listener.
Don't worry, I'll be brutal.
I hope so, because you're part of the listening audience.
You do. Just give out that vibe that she will be brutal.
You're doomed.
Every day. Every damn day.
Shut the up.
Yeah, I'll bleep that out.
I know.
Edit.
Yeah. But anyway, I asked her if she would give us some feedback because she is an avid listener of many different podcasts. And she listens to a lot, especially when she works, and we're not going to name the name of the business, but where she works at, to get through the day. That's what she listens to. If I don't entertain
myself, I will lose my mind.
Oh, that sounds...
As if she hasn't already being with me. Oh, yes, by the way, she is the girlfriend that I call her the girlfriend on the podcast, not in any negative way, but that's just because that's what I do.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah. She's already mentioned, what do you call it?
Well, I just heard her say she had to entertain herself, so, Matt, you need to step up your game.
You tell them customers at where I work that they need to back off and let me chat on my phone. So, hopefully, she'll give us a positive report, mostly positive, and if not, then we'll see. We'll take that and make some adjustments because she's a part of our listenership, or will be once we release this. So, anyway, for you to reach us, you can get us at sokynostalgia@gmail.com. That's SOKYNOSTALGIA, and that will be in the show notes when they get typed up when the episode is released. So all you have to do is click on it and send us the email. I think your rings and stuff like that, the metal is creating a buzz, and I'll edit what I'm
touching.
It's just getting close to it.
I'll just violently slap it. Okay. That's what she said.
Oh.
You said PG-13 for this podcast. You didn't.
Well, yeah.
You didn't give me any guidelines.
Did there have to be?
No. I
just
not.
Keep your mother down to a minimum.
Yeah, and just leave the bleeps to me.
Leave the bleeps to you. Beach.
Yeah. Less audacity, and already coming with the bleeps. All right, now you had Bradley. You had mentioned something about wanting in the future to possibly do a segment called Sir Bradley's Weekly News. Is that something you're still interested in?
Just spitballing ideas at the moment.
I think that would be really good because it would showcase your talents. You do have a voice for this, and I know sometimes Alan can be overpowering because, by God, he says a lot of the same things that I want to say, but I don't know how to articulate it as well as he does. Oh, man.
He's like a machine gun.
He is, and I love it. I do. I know some listeners like he needs to back off just a little bit, but you know what? I love it sometimes. I really do sometimes, especially when you talk about Lord Voldemort. who is here in town today, so that you listeners will know exactly which day that we're talking about. So, anyway, aside from that, all right.
So I have talents of some sort. I was not aware of these.
You don't have any talents?
No, I don't think so.
It's to be seen. TBH.
Oh, all right. Well, to be continued.
My wife did call me a sex god at one point.
I don't think we can put that on here.
Well,
This isn't a visual podcast.
it's true.
Not yet. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet. We ain't that fancy yet, guys.
Oh, well.
Well, I mean, we could do this by phone.
I don't think you could look at me and say sex god, so, it's really more of an experience.
And that's all anybody can hope for.
Oh, if she ever listens to this episode, she is going to blow her lid.
Well,
Just won't tell her.
Yeah. All right, anyway. All right, so today, Leslie Nielsen. Where can we begin on him? He's a...
excuse me, Leslie William Nielsen.
Oh, Leslie William
Middle
Nielsen.
name.
Yeah. Oh.
I got notes, baby.
It's got a whole page. I can see it.
He did homework, ladies and gentlemen.
Homework.
I did homework. I dug around in the bong resin. And then today, just so I could get some dates correct, I pulled up the Wikipedia page about him. Just so...
Wikipedia, for God's sake. You always do this. You say Wikipedia. It's not Wikipedia. It's Wikipedia.
I love this girl.
On the podcast, he does this shit all the time.
I say words incorrectly just to get under her
Like
skin.
a dumbass. Stop it.
You didn't think that just because I'm talking on a podcast that would change, did you?
You're weird all the time.
Well, thank you.
You do weird shit on here too, but
Well, thank you.
Wikipedia.
That's what I go for.
Wikipedia, bleep
Whoa,
me.
whoa. You're stepping on my territory, pal.
All right.
I'm the weird one. Thank you.
No, we're all kind of weird in this room. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. All right. Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen. Now, to describe Leslie Nielsen, you could say that he was most famous as a deadpan comedy actor.
That's what more modern day audiences would know him from. Yeah.
Yeah. For those that aren't familiar with what that type of work is in comedy, that's where a completely unrealistic, crazy situation happens in the background, and he just rolls with it as if it's the norm. He's very straight-faced. He doesn't give it he doesn't look at, like, say, I don't know, a guy riding a chicken. I'm just making the shit up, okay?
Really?
Yeah.
It's either a really tiny man or a really big chicken.
Yeah. So somebody riding a chicken, in the background, and he looks at it and he's like, oh yeah, that's just Bob. He does that every Thursday. Just completely deadpan, like, it happens every day.
Surely you can't be serious.
And don't call me Shirley.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Got it in there.
The one line that she's not quite familiar with, but she's very familiar with the scene, because you did say you have seen Airplane.
Like forever ago. I don't even know why I watched it.
Because it's a classic.
I know, but
It's almost like a rite of passage.
the most
It kinda
visual
is.
scene
It
that I
kinda is.
remember is a naked woman running across an aisle.
What's funny is most men would be the ones to remember that scene.
Yeah.
I don't think my parents knew that was in there.
But I tell you what, I think the scene in that movie that most people would actually recognize more would be... Yeah, wow, that ring.
I'm sorry. Okay, I got an accessory on.
That's okay.
Put it in my pocket.
Hey, there you go.
All right.
I'll take care of it. I love you, baby.
Oh my god.
I'm going to hear it when I get home.
Oh yeah.
What am I talking about? I'm going to hear it during the podcast. No, it's the most famous scene that most men would remember was the inflatable co-pilot.
Yeah.
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 Oh, you remember that too, don't you?
Autopilot.
It was
Yeah,
so
autopilot,
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the girl that gets stuck in the autopilot's lap and it turns and smiles.
Oh my god.
You cannot get away with anything.
Roger.
Yeah, Roger.
What was the point of that movie? It was just a bunch of weird bullshit.
That's the point.
Well, yeah, it's a spoof. It's a spoof on a couple of different genres. You've got the spoof of the horrific event happening, like catastrophic fire. I cannot speak
English.
Failure. Catastrophic failure. Yeah. These big, huge, horrible events like the California fires, recently, which I'm sure they're going to make a ton of movies about. This was sort of a take on that, but it was done in a comedic way. So that was the point of the whole movie. It's like, why did Scary Movie become famous? It was a spoof of horror slasher films.
They made so many of those.
Well,
I loved the first three. First three because the Wayans were still attached. Everything else after that was Charlie Sheen. Yeah, he wasn't winning then.
Oh my God.
No.
That's another subject for another day.
Yeah. But no, Airplane was
not Platoon.
No. What people don't realize was that Airplane wasn't his first role. He has done a lot of stuff on film, TV, and stage since you said what, the 50s?
I want to say 56. 56 was his kind of like breakout movie at Forbidden Planet. Yeah. Which I think me and you were actually discussing. This.
Yeah, that was a sci-fi movie, wasn't it? It was sort of like the predecessor to Star Trek. I think that's where Gene Roddenberry did. I'm going to edit this out heavily.
You up? You're going to edit that out?
Hell yes, I am. I'm going to seem perfect to the listeners, so that when they meet me in real life, if they ever want to, they'll go, "What the hell happened?"
What happened, dude?
What'd you eat?
Yeah. What's going on? Dude, you smell like tacos.
Oh my God.
we just got done eating a Taco Bell. So if we have to pause at any point, you know why.
All right. Back to Leslie.
Yeah. So, people don't realize that he wasn't known for comedy his entire career.
No. When he first started in the 50s, it was kind of like... it's been described as like the handsome leading man when there was an abundance of handsome leading men at the time.
I think I remember him in an interview saying at one point, he said, "I think that was the time in which I had abs."
Scrolling through Google images, yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had dark jet black hair almost, didn't he? It was dark brown, almost jet black.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was black and white film, so
that's true.
Yeah, I'll go with black.
But that's what they wanted him for. They wanted him for dramatic roles, leading man roles, and it wasn't until that sci-fi movie Forbidden Planet, which I think Amazon actually has, Amazon Prime. I might have to watch that.
I have to rent that and watch it.
Yeah,
and see if it's good.
It's probably not.
Well, probably not. Fair enough.
See how serious I got with that? It's probably not.
He has a very serious face.
But no, I think that would be really interesting to watch. It's like watching the original Reefer Madness. If you ever watched the more modern one, yeah. But the original one is just a complete 50s PSA against drugs. But I think that's sort of what we would kind of get into with Forbidden Planet. It was just that type of. It's sci-fi, but it's not like you would be used to today.
No, not at all.
And that's even going as far as being used to something like Star Trek, the original series.
Yeah.
Star Trek, the Next Generation.
Yeah. We'll talk about that on another episode because there's a lot happening with that genre right now. So, did you know that he was in the Royal Canadian Air Force as well?
No, we did not.
You've been reading my notes, haven't you?
Oh, he's got it in his notes.
Son of a...
Well, honestly, I knew he was in some form of the military. I'd seen a picture of him years ago. It was a commercial. Honestly, I say years ago. It was probably around the time that he died. They were showing pictures of his life, and because I'm a guy, and 10 years ago I was in my mid-20s, which is prime time to like the classic comedies. I loved the Three Stooges. So when I brought up him hosting the series of introducing the snippets and the stories that they would put out. I do remember AMC putting out a remembrance for him and showing different pictures through his life. So, and one of them was him in his military uniform. It was weird.
He actually left home at 17 because of an abusive father.
Oh, wow.
So, hence, Air Force.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
A lot of people join the military to come out of adverse conditions at home.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, my father himself, he grew up very, very, very poor. And, he was born in 39. So when he was a kid, he grew up on a dirt floor in eastern Kentucky, the Cumberland area. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a little more, not quite eastern, but, anybody who's listening to this will know where the Cumberland area is.
Known for the Cumberland Falls.
Yeah.
And dirt floors.
Yeah. He grew up at some point. He didn't have shoes until he was like 6.
For listeners that maybe possibly are not in this area, just think maybe coal miner's daughter.
Coal miner's daughter. Yes, that's what I was trying to think of. Coal miner's daughter, Loretta Lynn. Oh man, still performing today, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, she is, and is somehow related with my wife in some way.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah. See, these little segues are a little more calm here this week. I don't know if it's because of the Taco Bell we just ate, so we're just kind of a little more relaxed.
We're drugged on Taco Bell food.
Yeah.
No, just I'm on guard, on tense stomach. I can't let one of them slip because you never know what's going to come behind it.
There's 2 bathrooms in this place, dude. Better make it to one of them. I left the light on.
But no, one of my earliest memories of seeing him actually wasn't from comedy or anything like that. It was actually in the Poseidon Adventure. Mm-hmm. And that had some really good actors in it. Gene Hackman was in it, but he played the bad guy, the captain.
Yeah, he actually most of his serious career, most of it was him being the bad guy.
Well, everybody hates a good-looking guy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why do you think I have so many haters?
I know, right? Yeah.
When we get visuals, you'll understand I'm just full of people.
We'll use a filter and a beauty light. It'll be okay.
Which is what everybody does on Instagram now, I think.
I mean, yeah, duh.
Never know where, when somebody's actually nice looking because of all these filters and things.
The great thing about podcasting, though, if people don't know who you are, it's sort of like radio. Do you remember the scene in Wayne's World 2? Do you remember watching that?
No.
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 Well, anyway, Wayne and Garth...
That's Deadpan.
Oh, shit. I fell for it. Wayne and Garth are trying to do promotion for Wayne's stock. It's like, Woodstock, but... Wayne. So they go to this radio station, and they're going to go talk to this DJ that just has this amazingly rich DJ voice, and I think his name was Handsome Dan. Dan. He walks in, one guy walks out, and they think it's Handsome Dan. It actually turns into Ted McGinley from Married with Children.
Yeah.
And the Revenge of the Nerds series. He played Jefferson Darcy.
Yes.
So he was he's a decent looking guy, really, classic good looks.
Yeah.
And so they walk out and they're like, Handsome Dan? He's like, no, I'm not Handsome Dan. Handsome Dan walks out and he's this little guy in like windbreaker pants and a jacket.
Yes.
Long curly hair, very thin, sort of like if, you combined Ronnie James Dio with a goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah. He looked like his family was in a circus caravan. That's just the type of person that he looked like.
It's a very specific look.
Yeah, but he had that, how you doing? That very good, rich radio voice that I obviously don't have. I recognize that, but I'm podcasting and it's mine and I'm doing it.
I'm the creator, damn it.
So Bradley, I think that you have a more classic radio voice because it's deeper, it's smoother. More velvety.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to seduce the listeners.
Shaft.
Right.
Man, I'm just talking about Shaft.
Oh my God.
But no, where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. But that's what it reminded me of. But it was just really neat, looking back on Leslie Nielsen and seeing that his comedic timing was ahead of its time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he really edit.
No worries.
He really come into his own, I think, in 1980 whenever Airplane came out, and he discovered, hey, this is
what he should do.
This is really what I like doing.
Yeah.
And this is more me, Leslie Nielsen, and not the serious stuff that he had been trained to do.
Yeah, but I guess everybody is more familiar with him with his Naked Gun movies, which sounds kind of dirty if you just listen to the title, but it was based off a TV series that he did that lasted for 6 episodes before it was canceled, called Police Squad. Yeah, it was a Canadian filmed TV show about using that same absurd comedy that is completely over the top, Monty Python-esque, but he is the deadpan character. Everything is happening Monty Python style, but Monty Python's different than himself. I'm just trying to use terms that most of the listeners would understand. So you have all that stuff going on in the background, and then you have him who just thinks it's nothing.
Believe it or not, you want to know where this started?
Where?
Kentucky.
Did it really? See, I had no clue.
The Kentucky Fried Theater.
Kentucky Fried Theater. I wonder where that's at.
Yeah.
Is it Steven Seagal's favorite hangout?
Yeah. Steven Seagal. He said it, not me. Steven.
I ain't scared.
Don't know if you're familiar with the movie Kentucky Fried Movie. Yes. No.
I mean, I recognize the name. I may have seen it when I was younger.
It was like late 70s, early 80s, and it was the Zucker and Abrahams, and so they wrote this movie, and it's like different like segments throughout the movie, but a lot of it's the deadpan kind of comedy.
Oh, okay.
And those are the guys that Leslie Nielsen got together with to make.
I was showing Kat pictures to show the difference of his aging.
He did get the white hair somewhat early in his
30s.
Life.
Yeah. Because in his 20s, he was in Forbidden Planet when he had that really dark mane with who was that actress that was in there? Anne Francis. Oh man, she was a classic actress. Been in a lot of stuff.
Classic?
She had a classic. Yes, but no, she's a classic actress. She's been in a lot of films that are very
but yet the
recognizable.
David Jerry Zucker and Jim Abrams, the guys that wrote and directed the Naked Gun movies,
and did the Naked Gun,
yeah. They are the guys that got him into Airplane and got him into that comedy when he was a lot more comfortable with them, kind of fit in. So, and I mean, you can tell that on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, you really could. And they trusted him a lot. For someone who didn't have a lot of experience in that genre, they really trusted him a lot to do what, he could do. Which is very impressive for anybody in that, which would be a good reason for Alan to chime in if he were here. He could talk about that since, he's an actor.
But he's too sick.
Yeah.
He's too sick.
He's too sick.
He could have Skyped in.
He's probably asleep.
Probably.
An actor, act like you're not sick.
No, we're giving him but we hope he gets better. We know he's been under the weather quite a bit lately, so yeah. Isn't that crazy how how he looks, just the difference, aging can do to you.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to see how I'm going to look in 10 years.
Oh, boo.
Don't get married.
Hey.
Been there, done that.
Hey.
What? I wasn't meaning anything against you. I'm just saying my experience in that department led to some changes. Receding hairline, gray hair. But no, naturally after the Police Squad series, he went on and did film for the Naked Gun series.
Well, it didn't come initially, but because it was kind of seen, the Police Squad was kind of seen as a little bit of a failure.
It was, but fortunately,
which it really just didn't fit the small screen. It was really made for the big screen.
Yeah, exactly. Which, that happens a lot in TV. There's a lot of movies that fit better on the small screen, spread out, and there's a lot of TV series that would have worked so much better as a film.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, unless you're in the case of Firefly. Sorry, I had to give a moment of silence for my geekdom.
Did you have a nerdgasm?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay.
No, I loved the Naked Gun movies. I did. I probably watched anytime they came on TV. I watched them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I actually watched them a few weeks ago before we ever even said, "Hey, let's talk about Leslie Nielsen." Every once in a while, all right, I got to watch it,
and that just shows that some networks are still interested in showing his work.
Even see, this was DVD.
Oh, it was DVD.
Yeah. Well, so this is all me.
Wow,
all me. Yeah. I got to have me some Nielsen.
Oh, I love it. Oh,
Shirley.
One of his most famous co-stars, for those that don't know, was Elvis Presley's daughter.
I thought you were going in another direction.
Yes, I know exactly where you thought I was going, but yeah, Lisa Marie Presley. Lisa Marie Presley's mama, Priscilla. Or as Elvis referred to her as Scylla.
I'll tell you what, nice beaver.
Oh my god.
No, it's in the movie.
It's in the movie. Yes. No, I've never seen.
No, that was completely out of left field because, she was famous for being Elvis's wife.
Yeah.
And then look at her, she was in a comedy movie. She did great.
Amazing.
Yeah, and
amazing.
she played the perfect love interest for him.
Yeah.
And who's the actor that was in it? The bad guy. Still not who I'm in the direction that you think I'm going. I'll give you a hint. He was in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
No, I know his name. If you hadn't said something, I could have answered it. Go ahead, spit it out.
Ricardo Montalban.
Yes. Yeah.
Known as the Chest. I'm serious. They called him the Chest because almost every role that he had, he showed his bare chest. He was very proud of his chest, which I wish he could have kept it closed in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan because he was starting to get up in age then. And he finally started covering it up in the Naked Gun films, but he was a great actor.
Oh, he done a terrific bad guy.
Oh, yeah. You just got to love a film that deals with hypnotizing people to get them to assassinate others, but do it in a comedic way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Reggie Jackson almost went to jail over that.
Yeah, he went after the Queen.
I know, right?
Queen Elizabeth II, who's still kicking today.
Still kicking.
Yeah. Man. She is, 97?
She's on up there.
90-something, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't mess with the Queen, though.
No. Did you mean as in Queen Elizabeth, or you just mean in general?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think she's indicating that maybe she might be a queen of, a certain household.
She's my princess.
Oh.
Oh, I made her make the face. That was great.
Oh, you just knocked her down a step.
No.
What?
Oh,
no.
I'm going to get you in trouble.
Nope.
On purpose.
Nope. Nope. Princess is more luxurious than queen. Because nobody will ever be as flashy and as luxurious as Freddie Mercury. So,
Oh my god.
segue. Please ignore my congestedness, my voice. My sinus is a little plugged. I do have one ear completely plugged. The other side I can hear out of. So
His ears are plugged.
yeah.
Been plugged for 2 days straight.
Yeah.
Well, just looking at your eyes, I can tell from here, your eyes are brown, so you must be full of shit. That may be part of your problem.
Well, yeah.
Taco Bell should help with that.
I hope so.
Later.
Yeah,
Okay.
because when you deal with all day at your day job, eventually you just start floating in it. I've killed her. Anyway, back to the
police squad.
The police squad. I guess we should, kind of cover the elephant in the room a little bit. We'll have a whole episode dedicated to this, though. But the most famous actor, and I hate to say it, most famous and infamous actor of the film series, just because his career was really taking off then. And because of the things that he supposedly, or he was alleged to have done, that he was found innocent on. Mr. O.J. Simpson.
There's not really a
The
person in
juice.
America that really believes that innocence, but
Yeah.
Color me impressed that you knew his nickname.
I know that
the
from.
juice.
Yeah, the
You want to know
juice.
how I know that though?
Yes.
Is from I think it's the second Grown Ups movie. No, the first one, where their coach, all those boys that are now dads, they were in like a basketball team,
Right.
and then their coach dies. Well, they call, one guy gets the news, and then he starts calling all the friends, and then they call the David Spade. Is that right?
Yes, David Spade.
Yeah, David Spade. They call his character. He's the bachelor, and he's in bed with this lady. And he gets the call, and he's like, "Oh, so sad about it." And then he looks over, and the lady who he's in bed with has a tattoo of O.J. Simpson, and it says "the juice."
Oh,
And I don't think he realized that till just then, because I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something, and she got like, miffed with him like I do you, and she like kicked him with that leg that had the tattoo, and he saw that, and he was like, "What?" He's like, "Hey guys, if I don't show up later, tell them Tiffany did it," or whatever her name was. So I realized later that was O.J. Simpson
Wow.
tattooed on her leg.
yeah,
Hopefully it's a fake
care.
tattoo.
You know,
but-
at the end of the day, I don't care how you know that you knew that name, but that story was
But-
was well done. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. You get knowledge from the most random places about
Yes.
the most random things sometimes. The juice.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Yeah. But I thought the Naked Gun movies are what he was remembered for most. And I keep bringing those movies back up just because of how iconic they are.
Yeah.
There were so many. The different scenes that were in there. My favorite one was towards the tail end of the movie. It actually was the tail end of the movie where everything's wrapping up. Spoilers. When
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Should I have said that for
From
grown-ups?
88, 91, and 94.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
we would get some hate mail for it. Trust me. Nordberg. That was OJ's character's name.
Yeah.
Nordberg had been dragged by a truck. He had multiple broken bones.
That was the second one.
That was the second one.
Yeah.
But at the
2.5. to be
yeah, he was still
specific.
injured quite a bit in the first movie because
that
at
was
the
kind
end
of
he was in a wheelchair.
It was kind of his stick.
Yeah, yeah. He was just he was a bumbling, accidental detective.
Usually caused by
His own.
Layla Nielsen, Frank Drebin.
Yeah, yeah. But I love at the end of the movie where they're sitting there, they're wrapping things up, and it's like, Frank Drebin was the name of Leslie Nielsen's character, and he's like, talking about how great things were, and thanks for your help, Frank, yada yada. It's like Nordberg, you're no problem. He smacks him on the back, and Nordberg goes flying down the stands in his wheelchair at a baseball field, just going down the stands all the way to the end of the fence, hits the fence, and his whole body flips out and goes down and lands on the field.
Yes.
And he came back for a sequel. And
Well,
a
obviously, I mean, you can tell the quality of the dummy, which I think creates to the comedy of it.
I think it was the same quality of dummy they used for whenever Married with Children, when they let Bud drop out of the second story window onto the ground.
Yeah, I'm sure. But that just adds to the comedy of it.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it's so blatant.
Oh yeah, it's a dummy. I mean, you can see it's a dummy without even having to stop it, pause it, put it in slow mo. It was just
Just a big
Just a
stuffed
dummy.
person.
Yeah.
I can still laugh thinking about it.
But he went over that rail.
He really did.
Went over that rail just as good as he went over a fence.
Yeah. But there was some tragedy in that movie, though.
Joke, Matt.
I know.
He's good at jumping fences.
Hey, she gave you that look. Or was that meant for me, too?
I don't. Yes.
Okay.
Well, you're born in 91?
Yes.
Okay, well, the OJ trial happened in 94, so.
Yeah.
That was a wee babe.
Yeah. So, I was watching the trials and every night between ESPN's Baseball Tonight and Sports Center and MTV Singled Out.
Oh, Singled Out.
I was following the OJ trial through all these shows that I was watching at the time.
It was a national phenomenon.
Yeah, but I learned about it through at least 2 podcasts and BuzzFeed Unsolved on YouTube.
And it still carries through today, as you just heard.
I mean, people aren't going to stop talking about it.
Well, no,
so.
and they also made a TV show on Netflix called The People versus O.J. Simpson, starring
I didn't
Cuba
watch
Gooding Jr.
that.
Oh, it was great.
Hell of an actor.
Oh, yeah.
One
it was
of my favorites.
Great show.
But I pretty much know everything. I just didn't learn about it when I was freaking 3 years old.
Now, the lady that played Marsha Clark, who was the head prosecuting attorney for the case, which we're going to do a whole episode about this, but the actress that played her in that show is actually one of your favorite TV shows actresses. She was in American Horror Story.
Oh, I love that show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
In Coven, she was the one that ended up spoilers. Spoilers. She was the one that ended up cutting her own eyes out at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes blind for a while. It's fine.
She's a witch. She gets it back.
It's fine in the end. She gets some new eyes.
Isn't Stevie Nicks in that?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, she plays a witch that lives in the woods and grows herbs and stuff.
No, that was the girl, but she was also...
Oh, wait, yeah.
Stevie Nicks is a witch.
They
It's been a
based her character on Stevie Nicks, and Stevie Nicks...
That's why I got her confused.
Yeah. Stevie Nicks was interested in being on the show, so they said, we've got a character based on you. Would you want to be on it? And she was like, yeah. So they brought her in at the end.
It's probably because she is a witch.
Yeah, and it allowed them to use her music during the show. So
Yeah, I was like, I can be on your show? Yeah, you can use my music.
Yeah.
I'll sing it, I'll dance it, I'll play
the full
it.
song. It's fine.
Yeah. So...
She did doing a lot of collaborations with who you'd like to do a podcast on.
Oh.
Mr. Petty.
Oh, yeah, Tom Petty.
Yeah. Done a lot of collaborations with him. And they worked so well together.
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course, you've got the baseline folk music that they were both famous for.
Yeah.
But then you also had the other influences, their blues, and then you also had a little bit of rock music thrown in just for both of theirs. They were natural fits with each other.
I could do an entire podcast myself on Mr. Petty, and I think anybody that knows me is going to know that I probably could do that.
Well, if you want to, we'll do that as a bonus.
Well,
do that sometime. I'll just plug you in and just go for it. Yeah.
Bonus episode.
Yeah, just, hey, let me know. We'll do it. I'll just sit back and enjoy. So, during the height of his Naked Gun career, one of my favorite things that I dug around on, and I could not remember where I was seeing this, but I remember they were recreating the characters. Him and the captain were looking for someone or something on this TV show, and I could not remember what it was. I just remember snippets of it.
It's called WWE Raw.
Yes.
Or, excuse me, WWF at the time.
Yeah. Back then, this is when I was
They were promoting.
12, 13 years old when this happened.
It was, they were doing promotions for Naked Gun 33 and a third.
Oh, yeah, the third movie.
Yeah.
And
the final insult.
And they were, when I looked up their Wikipedia page, I had to, once I was, I'm doing it on purpose. Stop it.
I'm going to call you out on it every time.
I actually hope she does.
Every single time.
Wikipedia.
Stop.
Wiki.
Oh.
Wikipedia. Is that better?
You.
Anyway,
get it right, mother.
All right. Well, so I had to read the Wikipedia page, and I was talking about
going in a bleep. It'll be fine.
the two cop characters were there to unravel the mystery of the wrestler known as The Undertaker.
Yes.
I don't know what that means because I didn't look too deeply into that. Do you?
No, I just happened to remember seeing clips of it not so far long ago.
Well, I guess we could say that as detectives, they were apparently maybe the wrestler had disappeared on the show, and they were looking for it, uncovering clues about his life.
Well, I think back at that time, back in this would be what
they were very cartoony back then, too.
93, 94.
Very cartoony.
They were cartoony, and kayfabe was still alive at that time.
Kayfabe. The art of believing the things that are which aren't real.
AKA believing the fake part of wrestling.
Yeah.
The actual fighting?
The actual fighting is probably the most real part of it, but...
Well, yeah, because eventually they do make contact. They do land on different objects and not just the mat, chairs, you name it. They're still making contact, but it's all predetermined.
Yeah.
Obviously. I'm not saying anything to anybody out there that does not know, except for the guy that I keep seeing memes about that he's crying and says, "It's still real to me, man."
Yeah.
He's never going to live that down.
No.
Oh, man. But I tell you, moving past the Naked Gun movies, just for sake of time, because we're already at 42 minutes. Wow, that goes by fast. Actually, let's take a pause. Let's do a pause, and I'm going to do an ad so that we can keep the show running for free. Woo! I just did the cheering crowd sound effect.
Just be sure to edit that in every time I speak.
I just did. Gotta love soundboards. Anyway, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back to talk about some of his later career. Oh no! You just got food all over your favorite outfit. You have a wedding this weekend, and your trusty suit is wrinkled and looks dingy. Normal washing just won't get that spot out. Your pants need to be let out or taken in. Don't panic. Instead, come down to Key Dry Cleaners. The staff at Key Dry Cleaners takes pride in making sure you look your best for any and all occasions. Key Dry Cleaners offers same-day dry cleaning and laundry services, as well as timely, quality service for any alterations. Key Dry Cleaners has serviced Glasgow and the surrounding areas for over 25 years with the same quality and care that has helped make them not only a long-time establishment in Barron County, but also helped name them Best Dry Cleaners in Barron County for 2018. Key Dry Cleaners is located at 401 Happy Valley Road, and their hours are 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays, closed on Sundays. So come on down to Key Dry Cleaners, where all your dry cleaning needs are met with a smile. And we're back. All right, we were getting ready to start talking about Leslie Nielsen's. If you're still listening to us and haven't turned us off and hit delete, don't let us pod fade, please.
Such confidence. Wow.
But see, if I keep the expectations low, any download will be like, yes! Anyway, we were getting ready to talk about his later acting roles, some of the more obscure things that he did that people may not necessarily remember him for, but he was still great in.
Dracula,
Dead and Loving It. I love that. It was a Mel Brooks film, sort of along the same lines as Spaceballs, Robin Hood Men in Tights,
yes,
Blazing Saddles, you name it.
Great.
Yeah. Well, one of our favorite movies.
Man in Tights.
I've worn out so many DVDs on that movie. It's great. First time I ever saw Carrie Elways. Man. That man has aged gracefully, I tell you that.
Yeah.
But no, they did a movie called Dracula Dead and Loving It, which he played an aging Dracula, but the same story. Now, the interesting thing is that movie is what I based my audition on when I went to go try out for Dracula.
Yes.
I did. I auditioned for Renfield, and I used the Renfield from that movie as inspiration.
Which I thought that was a great character.
It was. I think the Renfield from that movie should be what the baseline Renfield should be.
Yeah.
And the actor was great, too. That actor was in everything at that point,
Ghostbusters 2?
Yeah, he was in Ghostbusters 2. He was in Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah. See? I love this girl.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Owen Atkinson. Oh, I could do a podcast about him.
A lovely girl that's just as big of a smartass as you are.
Yes. And it's good, too, because...
You should meet my mother.
She got that all from her mom.
I get it honest.
Her dad is a California hippie, as I like to call him, and not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
The good kind of... Okay, yeah, there is a difference.
Yeah.
Truck driver, hippie.
That man has worked for FedEx for how many years?
25. Well, 25.
25 years, no accident, no ticket, no nothing. They gave him a truck to drive on his own this past year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, yeah.
Been a truck driver since before.
And I think she got, I'll edit this out.
You need to add the...
Yay! This thing. I can't wait for y'all to hear that. It's great. It goes on for like 15 seconds, but... Oh, no, I like her dad. But, she gets a lot of her attitude from a combination of that.
Well, I'm so glad that you guys have withstained from premarital sex.
I'll edit that out.
Dad doesn't want to know that.
No, edit.
Edit.
I mean, not like nobody knows, but...
No, I know.
No.
Any realist would understand.
No.
When a man and a woman come together, it's...
All right.
She likes to open her mouth. And
Edit.
Well, you don't know which way he was going to go with that. He could have said, "Oh, she's getting ready to have a big, long conversation men don't really care about."
Exactly.
I'm joking. Yeah, I should ride home with her tonight. No, Leslie Nielsen's a later jaunt into movies. He actually did one more dramatic role as sort of a bad guy in the movie Creepshow. Do you remember Creepshow?
No, I do remember Creepshow, but I'm not extremely familiar with it.
Now, I can't remember if it was the first or the second one, but it was sort of, for those that don't know, it was sort of like a horror-esque anthology series along the lines of like Twilight Zone, where that was more sci-fi. This one was more horror.
I've heard that name, but I don't have any context.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
What it was about.
Look, it was popular enough that it spawned a comic book.
Well, I mean, Creepshow, that could be on probably adult film, shelves too, probably. So
it had stories in there.
It depends on how you read context. Creep. So
he played an old man who had let a business partner of his. He buried his business partner from the neck down on a beach and let him drown by the water coming in.
Well, that's
yeah. And then, like in another story, that was the only story he was in. But then he also had another story where, like, a totem Indian, like you would see at like an old cigar shop, you would insult the whatchamacallit, the business owner, or in that case, I think they robbed the place and killed the business owner. Well, then later on that night, the totem Indian came to life and killed the bad guys that robbed the place and killed the store owner and scalped them, and then came back and became a totem again the next morning. Yeah, it's a very interesting series. And
sounds like it.
I'm going to digress too far into this since we're getting pretty late here. He was in a lot of stuff. He did guest spots everywhere. Let's Make a Deal. He was behind the door on one of them. He was presenting a car.
Love it.
Yeah.
I could easily visualize it, but no, yeah. I didn't see it. I don't ever recall seeing it, but I can visually see him doing that. It just sounds right up his alley.
Yeah, he was on Hollywood Squares once. He did. Do you remember Press Your Luck?
Yes.
He was
Whammies.
He did a charity one with celebrities on there. I can't remember who the other panelists were, but I remember him being on there. So I think he was even more wacky than the Whammies were.
It sounds like him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things that I've seen that I've tried to watch on him, just trying to prepare for the episode, that were just hilarious. The fact he took a fart machine with him on all the interviews that he was on, and
that was his favorite.
It was different than any other fart machine I've ever seen. I'm dying to have it now.
Oh, yeah. But see, that was his favorite practical joke, was the fart machine or whoopee cushion, something that made a fart sound.
Now, was he pretending that he was farting or trying to blame it on the host?
I mean, either, however it would work. I mean, he loved the fart prank so much that on his tombstone, his headstone,
you son of a you stealing my thunder.
You do it. Go ahead. What it say? Because
let her rip.
It said let her rip. And that's what he wanted on there in reference to that practical joke that he was just in love with.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but the fart machine, it actually looked like I don't know, those fireplace things that you
like a poker. Not a fire, a stoker.
Yeah. Well, it was essentially the same.
Yeah, that's it.
It was essentially worked the same. So it was like this little flat piece of wood with I don't know, some kind of material that would pop up and down, but you put a little hole in it and just a little squeeze, and from it sounded
modified whoopee cushion,
but had, no matter the situation, had that serious face.
I guess since that was his favorite joke, we can go out on this section about him and leave it at that, because that's in life, such as in his death. The ending of that segment was like the end of his life. He loved that too much. So we'll just leave it at that on him. The final point being that he'll always be remembered as a classic comedic actor. He was actually a really big humanitarian, had a very long, had a couple of marriages, but nobody ever said a bad thing about him.
Not that I ever came across. Something I wanted to hit on real quick. He did have some instructional golf videos.
Oh my God, he did!
Yes. I did watch one in full, and oh my God,
was it good?
It is hilarious.
He loved golf too. He wasn't very good at it, but he loved it.
Exactly.
Well, I take it back. He had a really good long game, but he had a really bad short game. So
bad golf made easier. Bad golf my way. And stupid little golf video.
You know what that reminds me of? The Dorf videos.
The Dorf.
Tim Conway. Dorf goes fishing. Dorf plays golf. You remember those?
Tim Conway.
We'll have to do a show on him.
But I know Tim Conway, and that man is
genius.
Incredibly underrated.
Yes.
It's criminally underrated how funny that man was.
We'll have to do a whole show about him.
I would be perfectly fine doing a little research on Mr.
I was just laughing watching a big bunch of his videos. Last week, the dentist. I showed you that.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
See, even at 20-something years old,
the Carol Burnett show
appreciates great comedy. It's great.
If you can watch Mr. Bean, which is British, that British dry humor.
A vast majority of my YouTube channels that I watch are British channels. Or British present, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but British present, they, for whatever reason, just kind of, I don't know, I have their sense of humor, I guess.
Sometimes deadpan.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Be a very special type of American to appreciate British humor, I think. Not everybody likes that.
No. I think you would have really enjoyed one of the last shows that was up at Barn Lot Theater that they did. It was British comedy, but of course, with the type of audience that we have around here, you can't do British voices. You can't do anything like that. They won't get it. What was the name of that show? Do you remember? It was the one.
Called Play On.
Play On. It was like a play within a play. Sort of like Noises Off. Do you remember that movie?
Repeat.
Noises Off. Do you remember that movie?
Noises Off?
Yeah,
No.
It had. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'll let it.
Oh my gosh, was
John?
yeah.
John Ritter, Christopher Reeve, Michael Caine. You name it. They were all in. That's sort of along the same lines.
Basically, it was
the bad things that happen.
Everything that could go wrong in a play.
did.
And if Barnlet ever does it again, or if it ever shows somewhere else, I recommend going and seeing it.
And I hope that they do it in the original British voices. I don't know if they just didn't think that the actors couldn't do the voices.
Well, I mean, you gotta look at the audience,
but
and
the
also
audience
probably
mainly.
the time. Like, I mean, everyone up there was a good actor, but not everybody can do an accent very well. You know, getting a whole cast to do it. You know, but basically, if you've ever been in a
they
play
lean on
or
me
been
because I can do
in
accents.
the behind the scenes,
At one point in time,
but
I
also stressed.
had a good British accent, but with my
British
wife
accent.
with my wife living over there for 9 years and a failed marriage that didn't go so well for her. She didn't like to hear it, so I had to quit, and I got out of practice. So
Maybe to make sure that she doesn't hear this, I'll put on the show notes where it says, or on the intro it says, we use British voices during this. Then maybe she won't listen.
no.
I'll edit that out.
One last thing about Leslie Nielsen that I wanted to. I'm sorry, I'm going to basically steal his joke. But golf is named golf because all the other 4-letter words are already used.
I like that. All right, we're going to
whether that was him or a writer or whatever, but I just thought that was a hilarious joke. And I had to get that in there to make myself look good and make myself sound funny.
Oh yeah. All right, we're going to take one more small break, get our second ad-in of the day, our final ad of the day, and we'll be back to do a little segment that I would like to call Nostalgia Item of the Week. We'll be right back. Christmas is coming up, and you're stressed out about the family photo you've been planning. You were ready for fall, but your hair wasn't. You have a formal coming up and you can't quite get that glamorous look you've been dreaming of. Then, look no further than Vanity Salon and Spa. Vanity Salon and Spa is a full-service salon who specializes in styling, color, and makeup. Our stylists work hard to make sure your dreams are a reality by showing you glamour and beauty is no further than a phone call away. Vanity Salon and Spa is located at 403 Happy Valley Road in Glasgow, Kentucky. Their hours are 7:30 a.m. until 7 o'clock at night or until the last appointment of the day. Call 270-629-4779 to make an appointment. Let the girls at Vanity Salon and Spa show you that glamour and beauty are always within reach. All right, we're back from our last break of the day. Now, this segment I want to call Nostalgic Item of the Week. And it's because there were so many obscure items in the 90s, 80s, and however long.
Yeah.
Still is today. I think they deserve a segment on their own. So, this I present to you. Do you all remember moon shoes?
Yes. They're like little trampolines.
Like a toy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You wear them. And
Little trampolines that you put on your feet.
they look stupid and dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were big, they were bulky, they were blue, and I saw so many videos of kids cracking their skulls wearing them.
You're strapping tiny trampolines to a kid's feet. What do you think's going to
Oh,
happen?
man. Yeah, they said moon shoes. This is on Wikipedia.
Well, see,
Wikipedia.
I don't think that the developers and creators were really too concerned about what was going to be happening to the child, so long as the pockets got full. So,
Money.
Which,
Give us your money.
yes, I'm throwing some shade at the creators or developers or whatever. Blah blah blah.
That's okay, because I've got some extra trivia on that too, though. You were talking about the original, the creators of it. Those weren't actually the original creators. The original moon shoes were introduced in the 50s. And they were made of metal.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I would say so. Probably back,
really terrible.
When NASA was beginning to get real big and popular, and a lot of kids started to be, I want to be an astronaut. Yeah, definitely seems like a good time.
It said they were made to fit over the wearer's regular shoes, much in the same way as clamp-on roller skates. Now, can you imagine trying to get around in those?
You can't.
No,
That's why
you can't.
fall.
They're metal, and kids are supposed to be wearing these things. But they're talking about how Nickelodeon picked up the moon shoes and added the bungee style springs, which can be considered a safety improvement. I love that they put it in there.
That springs now.
Improvement, but still dangerous as.
I love that they made these for children's feet. When you watch videos like today on, say, YouTube or any other video watching service, and you see these people jumping on regular trampolines and almost killing themselves. Now, I love a trampoline. I used to jump on them all the time.
Yeah.
But you can't, when people are without adult supervision watching, the children, make sure they're not acting up. You can imagine the type of that they get into with these things.
Oh, imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I never owned a pair, but yeah.
Can you imagine if some kids had the moon shoes, but then also those like big inflatable boxer glove things?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember those? I don't know
Yes.
what company made
Yeah,
them.
the Boppets.
Is it Boppet?
Yeah. Imagine if they had both of those and they were like fighting in the backyard.
Check this. Now, I have a picture of them. I didn't know if y'all can see. I'm going to try turning my laptop without screwing any of the sound
Very
up.
carefully, there's
But
lots of cords.
this is actually the article that I found these on is the reason why I started wanted to do the nostalgic item of the week was because it just randomly showed up on my Facebook page. It says 11...
Sorry, go
It's
ahead.
okay. 11 stupidly dangerous toys of the 90s our parents probably shouldn't have let us play with.
Probably not. Oh, yeah.
Do you remember these things?
Those are also
Yeah,
purple.
exactly. That's exactly how I remember them.
May I tell the audience my boyfriend is colorblind?
It's it's
Yeah.
incredibly ironic. No, I don't think. There's a joke, Matt. Ironic, don't you think?
It's like
Incredibly
rain on your wedding day.
coincidental that you thought of something and it popped up.
Yeah.
The government's not watching us.
I know.
Totally not watching.
No.
I don't look for shoes online and then see them on Facebook.
And it's
It never
probably
happens.
because they were listening to me through my phone.
Well, yeah, how else are they
They
going
wouldn't
to
do
do it?
that.
No, they don't hack the cameras.
Not at all.
We're going to get hunted down.
Last time that was made mention of government looking into things and hacking things. My phone up later that night, just like 30 minutes later, my phone started up. I'm like, yeah, know what they're doing.
It's the intern watching you messing up with your phone.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
fine, I'll
Like,
just push
hey,
this button.
government, if you're going to do that, at least don't make it noticeable.
Yeah.
At least
Well,
try to
hey,
hide
they
it.
do try because I mean seriously, it's not like you're on the toilet and they start showing ads for toilets, So at least you've got that.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's an example. We could make a whole podcast about this, but we were talking about that sound foam, like to absorb the echoes and whatever. And I do not, on my Facebook feed, there was an ad for it just randomly in the middle of all the things that I actually want to look at. And I was like, I didn't even look for it. You're the one that's been looking at it, but it showed up on my phone because we've been talking about it.
Of course.
So, someone's listening. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And on
I'll
that
start
note-
getting ads for like
You're welcome for sound effects later.
yeah, but now that my phone heard that, I'm probably going to start getting ads about, gas relief and
Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol.
When the bubble guts hit you.
I think we've had a pretty good show so far tonight, haven't we? I
I
think
do
so.
like the addition that we've had today.
Yeah, you've been a very welcome addition. You've had some very good, input into the show. I hope you join us for more.
Yeah. Well, I had a thought earlier when you were first introducing Leslie. I'm sure I've seen him and stuff, and I've heard of him, but I don't have much context for him. But I told you on the first break, I have more context and knowledge of the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
So
A vast majority of what people know him from is this Deadpan stuff, but he had so much other stuff.
Oh my gosh, it was incredible
do
what a
some
career
digging.
he had.
I'll have to look up and see if we can find any movies.
I mean, not that I would claim to be an expert on his stuff or know what's good or not, but he had a slew of history, work history that nobody really knows.
Oh, I know. But, yeah, that sounded funny. I'm sorry for saying that. He said, no one knows. And I said, oh, I know.
Well, if this encourages even one person to go out and look for more of his stuff than just what's the most popular, I mean, that's pretty cool.
However, the popular stuff is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And if you haven't watched the Naked Gun movies, please go out and watch it. Even go watch his movie called Repossessed, which was a play on The Exorcist.
Oh my god!
Please go watch that.
How the did we miss that?
I don't know.
How did we miss that?
It even had Jesse the Body Ventura in it as a commentator at one point. Wow. Yeah, we may have to do another expanded
Repossessed.
episode for
Thanks.
this.
Now I gotta go watch that.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have to show me all of these things.
Yeah, I
Linda
think we
Blair
may,
was in that.
yes.
Yes.
A spoof on her own Exorcist film.
Yeah.
Yes. I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do an episode on just spoof films.
Well, we could definitely do that.
Yeah, and include, Repossessed, and allow us to watch maybe a catalog of maybe 5 or 6 of them, and then come in and just which
Hot
one we
Shots.
like best. Hot Shots. Favorite part is when he cracks that egg and starts cooking eggs on her belly.
Yeah. That's the first one.
I
Yeah,
have no idea
Yeah.
what that means. but
one of
okay.
Charlie Sheen's best movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, really showcased his talents for
The spoof on
out of his
the
mind.
spoof on the early 90s,
Action-
late 80s action films. Yeah.
especially Top Gun and
Rambo. Rambo is more the second one, but
Yeah. But it's good. All right. Well, we're going to draw to a close here. Wow, we're at 1 hour and 7, and that is just within the 12-minute realm from our last ad. That is all right. Yeah.
We did it. All right.
Now, do you think this will encourage you to do your own podcast? I know you said you were interested, but do you think this?
Well, that depends because I already know there's a lot of stuff you guys are going to talk about that I have no interest in or no
But I mean,
memories or context for. But
for yourself,
you weirdos can go yourselves.
yeah.
I don't care.
We're not 100% stuck together. So I mean, if you wanted to do an episode, I could just run the stuff here.
Use your equipment for my
Yeah,
own
use
game.
use my equipment, and I'll just run the sound and make sure everything's good to go, and then you can do what you want to do. How about that?
Yeah, and then you could promote us.
Yeah, I'll put I'll put the soundboard app on your phone, and you can do your own sounds on there.
Start making
and-
my own podcast money.
there you go. We have to start making money here first.
I know.
Well,
$10 is
$10 holla, man.
it's a
$10 is $10.
I'm supposed to talk about it. Shh.
hell of an income.
All right. Well, anyway, I want to say this will bring us to the end of the show. I want to thank our sponsors, Key Dry Cleaners Vanity Salon, for the lovely money in which they're giving us to make this show free. If
For you, the audience.
yes, and us.
Quit saying seductive things.
I'm sorry.
Of course, I was talking to you, Big Matt. Of course.
So anyway, if you would like to reach us, you can get a hold of us at soakingnostalgia@gmail.com. We will have a Facebook page by the time this episode airs, so you'll find us on Facebook / Soaking Nostalgia. What about you, Brad? Where should they find you? Should they just find you there?
Do you want them to find you? Do you want to stay hidden?
No, I'm going to be in the basement writing angry letters to the government.
Okay.
Oh, right. I knew we had a Kaczynski in here. I knew it.
Bradley Williams, Facebook, BCMA Black Belt on Twitter.
All right. And would you like for them to try to get a hold of you anywhere, or are you just going to phantom in until you get your own show?
Well, I'll go ahead and put my Twitter out there. It's it's Caitlin Wright, but look for Alpha Cat.
At Alpha Cat.
Alpha _ cat.
That's with a K-A-T, right?
Yeah, KAT.
Yeah. And I
I
am
have
Matt.
an Instagram, but I don't use it.
Leave her alone, gentlemen. She's taking
I'm taking,
I'm very thankful for that.
and I'll probably be running the Facebook page because I'm good at that.
Hey, there you go. Anyway, yeah, you can just pretty much reach me on Soaking Nostalgia. That's probably the easiest way, instead of giving you 10,000 ways to reach me anyway.
Oh, gee, thanks for me. I have to give out my private info. Thanks.
I just asked if you wanted to.
At least give out your Twitter.
Oh, well, that's what I'm looking up. I can't remember my Twitter handle
can't
because all I do is go to the app.
Well, just go to your profile.
Let's see. It says
It's just like
it takes a minute.
M. Catron.
At M. Catron 1982, which is the year of my birth. MCATRON 1982. You can find me there. And then again, you can find us at soakingnostalgia@gmail.com. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. And I guess that's it for this week. What are we going to talk about next week? Oh, I don't know. How about the O.J. Simpson trial?
Dun, dun, dun. Oh my gosh! At the same time.
Hey, whether or not Alan's here, if Alan is here and we don't have an extra microphone, we might by then. If we don't have an extra microphone, would you like to Skype in with us?
No.
For OJ? You're not going to do it for the juice?
How am I going to Skype in if I'm here? Wouldn't that be weird?
I don't.
I'll just take the microphone from Alan.
Okay. Well, I'll have an extra microphone by then anyway. All right. Anyway, this would be the end of the Soaking Nostalgia podcast. I am one of your hosts, Matt.
Sir Bradley.
And Kat.
And we will check y'all next time.